Yeah.
Get me up to speed on this, like, where's she at?
Yeah.
I just found out about an hour ago.
Is that right? 65395. Steve? 65395? Okay.
Yeah, where is she?
I know where she's right. As far as I know, she's right here. Do you have that authorized? I don't know what she's.
Did your supervisor authorize that? Do you need to get the sergeant to sign off on that right now?
Just open this, get notifications.
He did. He emailed a little bit earlier. He had a 6:30 meeting, so he said he may attend a little bit late. And I said that was.
All right, we'll call the meeting to order. Smile for the camera. Microphone's on. We'll have a roll call. Anybody here for public forum? All right. Step right up.
Karen Keeney, I've got a question about whether or not there's money set aside for road maintenance, like filling potholes in the budget. Is there any type of money set aside in the budget for maintaining the roads, not doing a big fix on one road or what? Is there anything for that?
Yes, there is.
So why aren't they fixing them? That would be-
They are fixing some of them, but I'm not saying all of them.
Yeah. Well, we had to fix our own. Or chose to fix our own by the golf course. And the golf course is a really busy area. And one would think that that might be a place that they would fix, but I'm just telling you, there's potholes all over. So do they get asphalt and they're actually going around with their little truck and putting asphalt in the holes and doing that kind of stuff or not?
Yeah, they buy, it's called a cold patch,
Okay.
and it's a temporary fix, but
Yeah,
they do that.
but you don't take out
Typically
your,
each
you don't
spring.
take out your front end when you. I mean, our potholes were so bad that you couldn't miss either the front or the back of the tires. They were this deep.
Oh, you live up off of Fifth, right, Sharon? Fifth
Yeah.
Street?
Yeah, and so I called and complained, and they came and fixed one. And we had put some gravel in another, just temporarily. They didn't take the gravel out, fix the other one. So Ken got a couple bags of asphalt and fixed it ourselves, but there's still issues on that corner. I mean, and I don't know about you, but I've driven around town and there's a lot of potholes. So
There is.
to me, if you don't fix them, you're gonna end up with a big budget. A large amount of money because you gotta fix the whole road.
Well, it's a good convenience. We should fill the potholes. I'm not gonna make excuses. We can,
So I
Find
guess I'm
those
asking that
issues.
they do a little bit better job of filling potholes.
okay.
There's one other issue with roads. Whenever you guys dig them up for pipes that burst or whatever, and then you have somebody fill it back up, if you look in town, every one of those are dipped. And my husband knows a little bit about construction and says they're not using a tamper to pound down the sand before they put it in. And if we're paying people to do a job, that should be part of the job, and someone in the city should be making sure they do that, because every one of them, within a year, are dipped. Within 2 years, in front of George's, which is 4th Avenue, I mean, there's such a big dip that you can't run a classic car by it, or you might wreck your car. So I'm just saying, who's in charge of making sure the people that you're paying to fill a good portion of a road because you've opened it up, who's in charge of making sure they do it properly so that we don't end up with a lot of them, and there are a lot of them, because I walk and I've driven, and you can tell because they're a different colored asphalt. So you know they've dug it up in front of, the car dealership. I mean, there's a bunch of different ones in front of the football field. And, you know, you don't mind going like this every time, but it's frustrating because they could do it right. And if they use a tamper and pack it down and then put the asphalt, you're not gonna have that. So I guess I'm just saying, somebody needs to be better in charge when that's happening.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon.
All right, consent agenda?
Make a motion to approve consent agenda.
Second.
Any discussion? All right, hearing none, we'll call for a vote. All in favor of the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. New business feasibility study. Brett.
Good evening. Back in May, myself along with staff and the street utility committee met to talk about what we wanted to do moving forward with some capital improvement projects. One of those items was a potential 2024 street and utility reconstruction project. And so we talked about it in May, decided we'd come back at this time with a proposal for a feasibility report. I have that proposal in front of you guys. The feasibility report will cover 4th Street from west of 2nd Avenue Northwest to 4th Avenue Northeast, Snake Alley, which is 5th Street Northeast, from Highway 52 to its eastern termination, 2nd Avenue Northeast from 5th Street Northeast to 4th Street Northeast, and then the alley improvements, the adjacent alley, alley adjacent to Main Street between 1st Street Northeast and Center Street Northeast. All 3 of these areas have utility concerns in them, with the exception of Snake Alley. We need to take a look at those televising tapes yet, but there's water main improvements and sanitary sewer improvements necessary in 4th Street. The alley that we're talking about is getting new electrical in the spring. And then again, Snake Alley has some storm sewer issues at that eastern portion of 5th Street. So within this proposal, if you go to the end, I have a tentative project schedule there. Again, we'd bring, if the council wishes to move forward with the proposal, we would do the feasibility report and report that back to the council in September, call for a public hearing in October, and then in October, then move forward with design and construction, or design and bidding services, bid it out in February, and then be ready for construction the following year in 2024, if the council chooses to move forward with it. Are there any questions with the feasibility report proposal?
When we do streets to streets, Long Avenue, or vice versa, does that just include the one intersection within the blocks, or does it go through both end intersections?
What instance are you thinking
Well,
of here?
let's just take the 4th Street. It's going from 2nd Avenue to 4th Avenue.
Yep.
So how many intersections are being reconstructed there?
Well, we're starting west of 2nd Avenue, right? So we're starting at, we need to decide that western termination, but 2nd Avenue intersection is paved. Going west of there, it's not. So do we want to push that pavement out to, I don't even know the name of that shared driveway that goes north, or do we want to go out to the bike path? You know, how far do we want to pave and service that roadway? So we're talking from there all the way through Second Avenue, all the way up to Trunk Highway 52. And there's likely some utilities in that intersection that we may have to deal with in 52. And then we're talking from there all the way down to Fourth, which is almost down by the golf course. So all of those intersections, and when we're talking about Snake Alley, if we need to go into Trunk Highway 52 again for any utilities at Fifth, we would, but otherwise we would be going through that whole improvement back down to Fourth. And then the alley is the alley.
And when you say utilities, you're talking both sewer and water
Sewer and water and storm sewer.
and storms.
There's, you know, Snake Alley, we believe the sanitary sewer is in decent condition. We just televised it. I have not reviewed it yet. We believe the water main is in decent condition. We know that there is a drainage issue on the far east end of that intersection. And we don't know, you know, we'll look at what we could do with that and where we would go with that drainage. So again, if the council would like to move forward with the feasibility report, we can get that prepared and present it back to the council in a month. Then call for the public hearing and proceed with the process.
I would make a motion to move forward with the feasibility study.
I'll second that.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Uh, Generation X retainage pay request.
Yeah, so Generation X did the utility work up at the splash pad for the city. You have a copy of a pay request for,
Yeah, they have the copy in the.
this is a copy of a pay request from last June. You can see the work done completed was $41,395. We held 5% retainage at the time, $2,069.75, until after startup of their grinder pump and to make sure everything was fine. We have started that grinder pump, everything's working fine. There have been no issues up there with utilities, so my recommendation is to pay out that final 5% retainage in the amount of $2,069.75.
Make a motion to pay the retainage.
Second that.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks,
Brett.
Brett.
Water tower maintenance.
This is actually from Brian, but Brian is out of town and on vacation. I did my best to kind of outline what this is about. The water tower is needing an interior renovation. The blast clean paint, just like is what is in the quote that I put in your packet. And the frost jacketing tin and insulation replacement I thought was kind of interesting. Apparently there's birds that get in there and they take the insulation out. I mean, it's great nesting material, right? So, anyway, they want to go in, take that off, re-insulate, to prevent freezing of our pipes. We haven't had anything like that happen. Haven't come close to Brian's knowledge, but don't want to get there either, so. This is gonna hopefully help preserve our tower since a water tower I think is in our future at some point in time, but it'll probably buy us some time. Maybe 5 years, not sure, how long it'll take or how long it'll last, but.
Take care of it, it'll outlast most of us.
Hopefully.
Probably, yeah, hopefully, yeah, we take care of it.
I make a motion to approve the water tower quote.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the water tower maintenance quote. Any discussion?
Does the 88,000 come from general fund? Or where would that water?
So, yeah, so actually with the budget work this year, we actually have tower funding aside in our capital improvement plan.
Okay.
So we could probably pull a little bit from there and then repay that back over time. But eventually I would like to, put more away in our capital improvement, for water tower. I think there's a little bit of funding in there for now, not quite the 88,000.
Okay, cool.
That's in capital improvements, or what's in the water fund?
Water fund, that's one thing I didn't give you today was your balances. Water fund is pretty healthy.
Pretty healthy.
Right now. So we could look at taking from there to for the difference.
Okay, any other discussion? Call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Harmony Chamber.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
I'd like to jump in first and just clarify. I think this is not an actual request at this time. It's just to brace us for what the EDA may come and ask us as a council. But
Just
to
for
get
your
some
consideration.
tentative, see if any of us have concerns. Okay, go ahead.
So the Harmony Area Chamber of Commerce plays a crucial role in this community, helping to build and maintain a place where we all want to live. We work in tandem with the city and EDA in many aspects and have an aligning vision for this community. We are asking the city to consider the chamber's annual budget beginning in 2024, increasing the chamber's annual budget in 2024. Our chamber director position is comprised of 3 different components: overseeing the visitor center, including managing its staffing and volunteers; promotions, which brings us community programming and includes all the things we love about living in Harmony; and tourism. By attracting visitors through thoughtful marketing, these visitors will spend money here and may potentially even buy homes and open businesses in Harmony. The scope of the chamber director's duties provide more than enough work for a full-time director. The director organizes events like the Easter egg hunt, Holidays in Harmony, Breakfast with Santa, the 4th of July, the Back Alley Jam series, and many others. We bring learning workshops to the business community like the CETA social media marketing education event that was held at Harmony Spirits in March, and the QuickBooks tutorial with Eric Stone just last month. We facilitate social events for our members like bowling and our chamber after-hours open houses. We participate in Adopt a Highway twice a year and sponsor the Customer Appreciation Picnic. Our director has invited news crews to Harmony 4 times since last October, resulting in wonderful publicity for our community. We're responsible for taking on the Discover Downtown Harmony signage project, and we're working on many other projects for our future. The chamber provides an incalculable value to our community, taking on more duties than typically fall under a chamber umbrella. We see vast potential in this community and want to continue to help Harmony succeed and shine. We do not want to lose momentum or progress. Our chamber is a nonprofit and receives its funding through promotions, requests, and membership dues from local businesses, fundraising activities, grants, and through the EDA and city. While this is very generous, the chamber actually operates on a very thin budget. There's a great deal of time spent trying to figure out how to pay our director's salary, time from our volunteer board that we would much rather see invested in making progress in our community. Additionally, we need to be able to offer our director a compensation package that aligns not only with the job being done, but with that of peers in the same profession in this area so that we can attract and retain a qualified professional. The chamber is currently unable to offer financial stability to a full-time director, and that is not a sustainable model for our nonprofit. Without a substantial boost in our funding, we will see some major cuts in programming. We're a fiscally conservative board and understand that without this additional funding, we will have to return to a part-time director position. This means we will need to focus on our ongoing programs, on our programming strategies that directly benefit our chamber business membership. We will eliminate programming that have more associated costs, as well as events that are time-consuming to plan. We will need to discontinue our planning and organizing of the 4th of July. This includes children's activities, the parade, food trucks, advertising, contributions to Conservation Club porta potties, buttons and button contributions to the fire department, etc. Additionally, the chamber will no longer be able to sponsor the Easter egg hunt, Breakfast with Santa, the Back Alley Jam Series, greenery for the holiday light poles and Selvig Park gazebo, or contribute to downtown summer planters, etc. The vision is a grim one, but you can see how much the chamber and its memberships do for our entire community, not just the business community. We're asking for a $22,000 increase to our annual budget. This will enable the chamber to keep our current programming momentum and continue to build our community. We will, of course, continue to seek volunteers, create fundraising opportunities, and pursue grants for special projects. Tonight, the Chamber Board is simply asking for your consideration. We will be back next month for your vote. Any immediate questions?
I guess I'm not real 100% on how this works, but is the director the only paid member?
Right now, we have a very part-time staff member, and we are eliminating that role.
But members don't get,
Correct.
board members aren't
Board
paid?
members have no compensation. We are real, pure volunteers.
So this 22,000 is basically just going toward that salary?
Towards salary, also towards our budget, and then also wage taxes. And then a small amount would be able to be a cushion. There are also no benefits currently offered to the director, so part of that increase in wage would be for like a healthcare stipend, and if that director didn't need that, then it would be part of the salary. Any other questions? Thank you for your time.
Can everybody understand that? That director is hired by the chamber, not the nonprofit.
Correct.
Thank you, Erica. Community center door opener.
Yes. The automatic door opener, the arm. Terry, am I explaining this right? It's not strong enough, so that one, when you push the plate, it's not strong enough to actually open up the door. We're looking at getting a stronger door opener, automatic opener.
It starts and then it catches on the plate. Once it gets by,
Then it's fine. To replace this one, we get a little bit stronger one, so then it can push past that plate. And then Terry could take this existing one and put it on
We'll
the
put it down
on the
north end.
north end on this east end here. So it's, because they don't currently have anything.
Can't the plate or the door be adjusted? I mean, regardless of whether we get the new one or not, it shouldn't really catch on
This
it.
opener is doing all it can. It was on a smaller door to begin with, and then we put the bigger door here.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
just not,
It's just not quite
it's
enough.
husky enough.
Yes, yes, that's his word. I was trying to come up with that word that he was using. He says it's just not husky, it's just not strong enough. That's a bigger door to put in.
And part of this is, correct me if I'm wrong, because the library kind of wants that handicap accessible door on the north end.
Yep.
So this is the alternative to fix that.
Right,
And that was what's there, so we know that it works on that door, correct?
yes.
Yeah, it'll be fine. That's a small.
That's a lot
door.
smaller door, not as heavy.
All right.
Mhm.
I make a motion.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I make a motion to approve the
Okay,
quote.
okay. I was
Second.
gonna say. I was gonna say we don't need a motion, but. Good enough. We got
Good enough.
one.
We got one. We got one.
Any further discussion?
It came to you because it's over the threshold of the
Oh,
okay
okay. Gotcha.
of, it came over the $1,000 threshold at
2,300.
2,300.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. MediaCom.
So this was a unique one. I had to actually go back into old records. MediaCom came to town years ago for the high school because Harmon Cell Phone just didn't have enough speed for them at that point. Now MediaCom is asking the for the ability to install fiber utility in our right of way, which we do have a permit for, it's $25, to go from the high school to Quick Trip. It's about it's a half a mile. We do have, with that permitting process and them installing the fiber optic cable within our utility, there's some indemnification where they would be responsible for any, locates, and if they were to damage anything of our utilities, they're responsible for repairs.
Does Quick Trip not want to use our fiber?
So this is actually, this is a bigger agreement than, I did do all my checking and I asked the same question.
Okay.
And that is actually a corporate Quick Trip franchise agreement with Mediacom. So since I've never came across this.
Who makes sure they get all our streets and intersections back
Well, that's,
to as is or better?
My guess is they'll bore most of it.
right. That's, I think, what they're going to do. I told them I'd be bringing it here because it's such a unique request. We don't really run across this very often, so we'll ensure that they do, and I'll make sure that they get a copy of our ordinance of what they're expected to and their requirements. They've been really good to work with, this utility company, so I'm hoping that it'd be.
It says the fees, restoration and indemnification.
Mhm.
I just want to.
Yeah.
Make sure there's teeth in that, so.
Yep. Yeah, I did run this by Greg. We did kind of dig through this a little bit just to make sure. Yeah. Again, I wish he was here to give his 2 cents, but yeah, it's just not something that we come up with or we've run across very often. So I want to make sure you guys are all okay with that permitting process going forward and just ensuring that, stay in touch and communication with them.
Good.
Does anybody want to make a motion to?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
To kind of piggyback off this, I mean, they're already in town since they service a school, right? Is there any way or is there any concern that maybe we should limit the number of companies that might want to come in and bore around town, or can we?
Yes, and yes.
Is that something we should look at in the near future, or?
Well, I think we look at it on a case-by-case basis. This seems to have some logic in it that Quick Trip's corporate office has an agreement with Mediacom. So
Right.
Did the high school ever put the fiber up to them?
They did.
They did?
With Mediacom, yeah, they came up.
Oh, no, I mean
They came up
the
first
new
after,
fiber.
I think, right?
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
somehow they're getting the fiber there that's obviously under our ground.
Yeah, so, sorry, on that map, and this is black and white on my map here.
I think Mingo's talking about the fiber that Harmony and Tel
Yeah.
installed.
Oh,
yes.
what, no,
It's-
oh,
that
yeah.
was the question.
Right?
Does the Harmony Tel fiber optic go to the high school? Or not? Did it? No, doesn't.
If it goes by it, they could service it if.
If they- Okay.
I agree.
Welcome, Greg.
Great.
We're just talking about the Mediacom fiber.
Sorry, my turn to say overlapping meetings.
I think, yeah, like Steve said, if we do have them do it, someone's got to be held accountable for the ground, I guess. It's a long
Yeah, I
ways
was
to
just
go.
looking at it and saying, the background is, they request approval to put that in. And they're saying they're gonna handle the restoration and indemnification of the right away. So I just wanted to make sure we could hold them to
Yeah.
things to our satisfaction.
Yeah, Did you guys talk about the ordinance already?
Mhm.
Okay.
So what I thought was that when I get hold of them tomorrow and talk about our permit, and we have a $25 permit.
Yep.
Make sure that they're aware of our ordinance and of what our expectations are. And just be very open with them on that.
And then Kyle had a question, well, what if other people come in, can we limit them? And my thoughts were, we can, on a case-by-case basis.
Other utility companies.
Right.
I think if they meet the criteria, then you're obligated to give them a permit. So I guess that would be the test. It's gonna be self-limiting, right? People aren't gonna bury utilities just for the fun of it.
Right.
But yeah, if somebody else came in and wanted to do something, we'd just be looking at the ordinance, and if they meet the criteria, we'd be giving them a permit.
Okay,
Okay.
I stand correct.
Well, it's kind of what I was saying is we should have something, maybe an ordinance or something in writing stating we're allowing 3 or 4, maybe change that down the line if needs be, but I mean, I can see a
Or
bunch
two-
coming to
or
town wanting to go boring around town because 2 people want to get a different service. And we have to let them because they meet the,
Well, we did have the one company that wanted to put in.
I think they were
Use
pole
our
to pole.
poles.
Yeah,
Polls,
Yeah.
you said?
Yep, and that would have required a poll agreement,
yeah.
an interconnection poll agreement.
Something we can look at.
Okay. I forget, are we in discussion? We had a
Yes,
motion.
we're in discussion.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Personnel. You want to describe what the personnel committee did, Domingo?
So we met, gave Sam her 6-month review, discussed what she's taken on, how things are going good. Steve and I came to agreement of what we believe we should give her in a bump with her new added jobs, I would say. Responsibilities.
Yep. Yep, pass.
Yep. And so our recommendation is to start her at step 10,
Grade 10.
grade 10, step 1, sorry, grade 10, step 1 on your guys' printout.
Schedule that we had modified earlier. We got lots of feedback in talking to people that an administrator clerk deals with on daily, weekly, monthly basis. And then we also got comparisons on what other administrator clerks are earning. So I think we put a good amount of due diligence into it, and we're recommending
That's our
that
recommendation.
bump at this time. That that's on the clerk administrator portion of her pay. Well, actually, on all of them, that her step date would now be January 1st of each year going forward. You started as interim at the beginning of the year. Or did you start in December? I can't remember.
You appointed me in December and
Then, yeah, and then we
it's been a whirlwind since last November. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, it was an appointment in December council meeting last year.
I did actually get some comments that some people feel that it's too much too soon, too many jumps for her time in employment with the city. But I think it's somewhat unfair to tell somebody to take baby steps in their pay when you've asked them to jump in and take on the whole job. And she's done an exemplary
job, to my estimation.
Is this where she's supposed to be at this time, or we're above that for clerk?
Well, we never had a clerk position until we appointed her as
Right,
clerk.
so I mean, is this coincides with that?
Yeah, clerk administrator would basically be the same scale.
Okay,
And we're one grade in the new scale we've done, which at some point soon, and Sam is looking into that, we're going to need to have a wage study, or at least our current one updated by
David. Jones.
David Drone is gonna be doing that?
Company. And we have two options there, an update or a complete new study, and I think the new studies run like 8,000, the last one maybe.
6,800 for the last one.
Yeah, we
I
paid,
don't know if we need that. But I think we have to look at all the positions again.
Yeah.
Review them.
Yep.
To make sure we're paying comparable to other communities our size for the jobs people are doing.
So that'll be coming down the line too.
they
The
do,
other ones will be.
they did give me a quote for a per position, review. And that was $150 per position, per employee, basically per employee, just to make sure that their duties match their compensation, with the pay equity and things like that, so.
And we can either put that on the agenda for next month, or I think based in the same area, we could make that a motion after this to approve that. I mean, it's a pretty small dollar amount.
It's only $800 at the very most, I think, roughly calculating. And if you're okay with that, I can get them to working on it this weekend. It would I probably could have something back to council next month.
So has the position title changed at all for you?
3 times since I started.
Or
Um,
like from last week to what we're talking about tonight?
No, I'm fulfilling the administrator, city clerk, treasurer portion according to what our ordinance says we have to have and all that. So I've been doing this for 8 months now, so.
Yeah. And then this just came up tonight, like in the last couple hours, I guess, to where it was added to the agenda.
Yeah.
Is there a reason why it was tonight, not on Friday, or not held for next month?
Ambulance calls in meetings. I actually didn't leave here till 9:00 on Friday night. So yeah, I would have loved to have had it on the agenda. I just didn't have enough time with everything else coming, in during the day, whatever. So yeah, I would have loved to have had it to you last Friday or sooner today, but between meetings and calls today, I just didn't have the time.
So that's our proposal to you guys.
Yeah, so it's
So what is
grade 10, step 1, for 70% of our time, which will be calculated at 28 hours per week, 70%. And that would be salary. And then for ambulance director position, for now, we're having that as hourly, and that's at the step 5, no, grade 5, step 4.
Step 4.
Currently, she's been at, for her total compensation, she's been at grade 5, step 6.
So the proposal that's in the packet, the agenda number 5G, that
Mhm.
says grade 11.
Grade 11, step 1, which is what your administrator compensation was when you had Devin or Jerome. That was the administrator compensation.
But we're wanting to approve
10.
grade 10.
Yep.
Yes.
that one.
Not that,
Not
not
that
that
one.
packet.
So this is updated, or
No.
this is old
No.
news.
That's what, yep.
Our recommendation is what I just stated, not what's on that
Yeah.
Okay.
package.
Why didn't you lump it all as one salary and just do a salary at 30%, 70%?
Just because it's been two distinct jobs and it could happen later that we have a different ambulance director.
It's never been two distinct jobs. Eileen was here and it was paid one rate.
No, there was an administrator and there was Eileen.
Yeah, I'm talking about the ambulance, so it's always been combined with some sort of job title. That's what I'm saying.
Not always. So when Eileen took it, yeah, it became
For the last
part of her job.
25 years, it's been that way.
However long she was ambulance director, it was, yeah. But there was an ambulance director and deputy clerk position, and there was an administrator.
But what I'm saying is you paid Eileen Pryor at one rate, not two separate rates, not a deputy clerk rate and not an ambulance director rate.
Correct.
And you took whatever the percentage breakdown was from the ambulance budget, which is not funded by the city, and the other percentage from the general. Correct?
Correct.
Which would be the same here.
Yes, we could have went with a blended rate. We did not decide to do that. So, did I make that a motion? I'm gonna make this a motion, as I stated, and ask for a second.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Any more discussion?
She has another review in January then? We'd review this again in January or,
It'd be my 1-year anniversary if you chose.
so that's right?
I mean, it's however people want to proceed. I mean, that's fine.
Yes, the goal is gonna be to start having and we've had this goal a number of times. We've rarely achieved it, for the personnel committee to evaluate administrator on an annual basis and for the administrator to evaluate the rest of the city staff on a regular basis with the personnel committee. But that's the intent going forward. Yes. And her anniversary will be not technically, but for all intents and purposes, January 1st. So sometime after that, we will have the next review.
Is there a way to ensure that that can happen if it was intended but not actually completed in the past few years?
Yeah, council members can insist.
Thank you. All right.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Any abstentions?
Yes, me.
Okay.
Is that
Is
a
that
word?
an abstention or
Is that a word?
recusal or is?
I'm abstaining.
Abstain, okay. Motion carries. Thank you, Sam.
You're welcome.
All right. Building reports. Building and maintenance, I should say. Nothing to really discuss there.
Everything's been pretty status quo. Did you get your new graffiti wipes yet, Terry?
No.
We have some graffiti we need to take care of, but we need some new wipes. But
Uh,
anyhow,
EDA,
Minutes are in the agenda.
what's that?
The minutes are in the agenda.
Yep.
For that.
People can notice the welcome to Harmony signs are going to receive attention. And the third one is the city.
So does the EDA usually do the city signs, or is that, should that be a city itself taking charge of paying for that? Is the EDA?
It doesn't happen often enough to have a routine. So
yeah.
once every couple of decades, probably.
And I think if I understand right from Chris, it was a EDA initiative and something that Chris had proposed with the EDA at this last meeting was that for future land development for projects such as this that kind of come up one-off, or if we had something that maybe was damaged, putting some money away for capital improvement. So to purchase land to do some one-time road improvements or expansions because of business development or residential development to assist with that.
I'd say if it was going to be just routine
But-
maintenance on the existing ones, probably the city would handle that.
Yeah.
Instead of the EDA bringing it up.
But they're in pretty bad shape. It's been 30 years, I think is what Chris said, that 25 years that they've been in there and not really touched much. So. Yeah, it's been quite a few years, yeah.
Harmony Chamber, anything in addition to the ask? Well, thank you for the 4th of July. That was great. Again, Park Board,
I have an update on trees with our, in regards to our tree order. All of the trees that were ordered, which we had quite a few more than I was expecting. I think we ended up with like 41 trees that were ordered. I did get an email from the treehouse. They are able to fulfill all the orders. I'm just waiting on like a timeline of when they'll be put in, but with this drought, I'm not sure if they'll be coming more fall time. Sometimes I like to plant them in the fall. The city has also been issued, I was in communication with the park board, Tuesday, last week, Thursday, Friday. Wednesday or Thursday. I came in to an email from the DNR issuing a severe drought warning.
that was to the
Not-
city, not the Park Board.
Right. But they were asking that city curtail any excessive watering, anything like that, something that, because the splash pad is not a recirculating system and it just goes off into a sinkhole. That was one way we actually did. I talked with the park board and they felt that it would be pretty wasteful right now, especially with the type of drought that we have, with the DNR requesting that all automatic lawn irrigation systems being turned off. I felt that it was wise to limit the splash pad hours. Monday or Friday,
When did that
Saturday,
start?
Sunday.
When I saw automatic lawn order going this morning.
Well,
My other
I don't know.
My other question is,
I don't know how we enforce.
is the DNR, that's a request?
Request to residents, it's a demand to city reduce.
So
any
no, on that,
excess.
that specifically said the Upper Mississippi, Iowa skunk, whatever.
Uh-huh.
Thank you. That's not us. That's west of us, the whole county. That doesn't even touch us. Are we included in that? Why
Yes,
are we included
Upper
in that?
Mississippi. We are.
We're the Upper Mississippi one, but this is all over here.
Yeah, it's Upper Mississippi, Iowa watershed. We
That's
only
what I'm here.
get
We're
these
over here.
based on our watershed district.
This is what it said, but that's the way I read it.
Lake City and Wood Crescent and all those guys have gotten those same notices.
Yeah.
The way I read it, it's the city was supposed to make efforts to limit the use to 60% above the January usage. Is that correct?
Yes, there's a
I'll
formula
exceed that.
with our, actually Brian helped calculate that.
So we need to start running the splash pad in January.
Right, sure, yeah.
No, we don't.
It'll only run for 1
It's
day.
based on our, it's based
It'd be
on our,
pretty. It'd be
it's based
pretty.
on our 22 July and January 22 water usages and the percentages of those. And I can tell you, we pumped 6.8 million gallons in July of last year alone. So there's a percentage, there's a calculation based on that with our water report, with our MPARS water
So
report.
last year we did 6.8 million in July.
Just on one pump, yeah. Yep, I believe. I'd have to go back and look.
Oh.
So, I mean,
I
well,
was
just
gonna
do
try to
6.8
compare it
million.
to what we did this July. We don't really know the.
I
total.
don't know, no, we don't know our 23 totals. But I can tell you in July, Splash Pad to date has used 1,542,398 gallons to date of end of July 31st.
Can you say that number again?
1,542,398. July alone, July 1 to the 31st was 633,326 gallons to an average of 20,430 gallons a day. And that's with modifications to limit water flow and feature flow,
Which will be changing again, correct?
which will be changed again, correct, to sequential. And with some plumbing, replumbing and things like that, hopefully we can get that done. I believe Park Board only wanted that open, I think, through Labor Day. So once the kids go back to school, it was gonna be, not a lot of people aren't gonna be using it during the week, so. It's really for only a couple more weeks, unless we get a significant amount of rain.
Yeah, and I think, one thing, if Harmony got, when was the email sent? Roughly. A week ago?
Thursday.
So if we've got 5 inches of rain 3 days before that, we still would have got the email because it's the upper Midwest, right?
Potentially,
The-
maybe.
But the water we use in Harmony does not affect the rest of the Midwest.
No,
Those
this was issued by the
This
state
is-
DNR,
This is the Minnesota
not the
DNR,
Midwest.
yeah.
No, but they're saying it's the upper Midwest.
The watershed.
Yep,
Upper Mississippi,
upper Mississippi, yep.
Yep.
which were part of that watershed.
Right. But I'm saying,
They're asking us to do every effort that we can to conserve water. And if we had a recirculating system, if this was a true recirculating system, we wouldn't have any issues.
it said swimming pools also. But it did say filling.
So-
Filling swimming pools, correct,
That's a little
absolutely. I can tell you mine would need a fill because there's more water evaporating than there is going in, so.
But you also contacted other people that are watering.
Yes, I did.
And could that go in like the next newsletter?
It's out on Facebook, and Lisa put a notice out, and it's out on our website on the main page. So, yeah, with all the different ways to conserve water, it has our letter that was sent, as that was requested as well.
Have we put a sign at the splash pad saying that the DNR has declared it a,
No, but we can.
just so people know why it's not running?
Yeah.
You wouldn't build a splash pad not to run it because it's going to use water, because that's what it does.
Right, yeah, it's supposed to do that, right? Yes, and I can get a sign up tomorrow.
So with the splash pad, I gather that it was from day one, either a regenerative or not system. And we
Correct.
chose one route, not the other.
Correct.
So there's no backtracking of that.
We have the
We could
option.
backtrack on it.
It's cost.
Yeah.
It's
I-
being explored, or we're starting the process to explore what
Right.
that would cost as far as the park board. That was one of the recommendations at our meeting.
I'm working on that. That's one of my projects I'm working on right now, is to see what it would take to recirculate that water.
At the time, one of the discussions, or part of the discussion was the fact that and I shouldn't say fact, it was thought that if it was going to be recircling, then we had to have somebody identified as a
We have to have a pool license. That's
pool
correct.
license.
We do.
And you have to
And chlorine.
check those chemicals, you have to add the chemicals. And you have to be checking them constantly and using a lot of chemicals. And you have pumps and storage tanks and,
Mhm.
yeah.
It's a big project. It's a lot to go through, but
And it was also thought that recently the state had come with the determination that if you used city water, you could run it off. Just let it run off.
yeah.
But then a different department of the state came in, because they don't discuss things with each other, and determined that because we needed a plumbing permit, that Minnesota Pollution Control had to look at it, and we had to have the drainage in a certain pipe.
And we're subject to water testing on that, I think, for like the next 3 years or something, 4 years, however many years that is. Yep.
Otherwise, our board meeting is next Monday.
Can I ask a clarifying question about the splash pad?
Mhm.
What are so the hours are Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They're not open Monday through Thursday, 1 to 6, correct?
Correct.
And there is a sign that's gonna go up saying that.
It has, there's
There's supposed to be
There's a sign, there's
There's a
supposed to
sign
be,
there now.
there's a sign there since last week. It's supposed to be.
It doesn't say why.
It doesn't say the
hours were
why.
cut back. It just says what the hours are.
Okay. I think that needs to be clarified, that.
Oh, sure.
Because
Yep.
when the notice went out on Facebook, it was like a Thursday or a Friday, and it felt like the hours for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday were gonna be 1 to 6, but I think we need to clarify that it's gonna be now closed Monday through
Sure.
Thursday, open Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 1 to 6.
Sure, we can modify the sign.
And I think Hannah might make it so it shows up in the paper.
That was my whole hope. It was gonna make it in the paper. Yes.
All right. Library board.
Library board met last night. We went over the budget for 2024, which will be brought forward in September. No other updates.
Arts board?
Arts board will be meeting soon. We went over the postcard project, which Eva Hemingway discussed last month. That continues to be a good success, so we'll continue with that. And otherwise, we'll know more with the next meeting.
Fire department?
So nothing new.
Nothing new. Did I mention last month that Blaine Gotsky was retired?
You did.
That was last month. Okay.
It's worth mentioning again, though. Correct.
Yes. I forget the number of years.
30, I believe.
Plentiful, yes.
Yeah.
The only thing, and I hope he's okay if I speak on his behalf, Chief Morum did come in, and it sounds like they are going to be needing some new hose, replacing hose that maybe has, they burst or whatever, gotten pinholes in it over the years. And they did just order some new pagers, and those are in my office. So, firemen are hard on pagers, apparently.
And when I get busy and look at the budget, there's probably in there for that.
Yes.
I
hope
don't
so.
make them like they used to. put it
Yeah,
that way.
so-
I need to go back to the keynotes.
And I think just in passing, I think they're gonna talk about, they'll be coming forward at some point, looking at another truck in another couple of years, just forming a truck committee. And can't remember which truck is,
And I believe
The
they're gonna have
oldest.
a large training event, aren't you? It's
Yeah,
Yeah.
in the end of August.
end of August, it's downtown area,
Yes.
so there could be some And that's a Monday evening?
Yeah.
It is a Monday evening.
Yes,
Yeah, the
Monday,
training
the
is the 28th,
Yes. But that's good.
right? Yeah, August 28th. And that's going to be a multi-agency drill, correct?
Yes.
Lots of fire trucks. The ambulance will be involved. And basically it's a simulating a large downtown fire, right? So,
See if the water tower holds,
well,
unless there's a drought.
gosh, yeah, don't.
We'll have to truck it all in.
You have to truck it all in. Pump someone's pond.
All right. Anybody else have anything to announce,
I got a couple.
Domingo?
First one, can we get a couple Watch for Children signs down at Third Avenue Southeast, out towards Garden Road, one on Garden Road and one on the corner? Some residents out there saying that people are going fast out there.
I like the Watch for Children. I didn't appreciate slow children.
Yeah. If that can be done or
So, yeah,
utilities or.
yeah. I asked Brian about that. We just don't have any signs. We can order some.
Okay.
Do they have any of those little turtles?
Slow, yeah, turtles. Or-
The
There's a-
kids with the flag.
Kids with the flag, they have,
Turtle with
or
the
a
flag.
kid, the turtle with the flag, they have kids, they have do they have other things like that out there right now?
I don't think so.
No.
I'll ask them, yeah, I'll tell them,
Could we try that
try that.
first? Cause,
At least in the interim until we can get some signs.
yeah. Well,
I
my
don't
other
know that.
question was,
The signs will help for a period of time and then they'll just,
Ignore 'em.
ignore them. And, I mean, my kids played on our street as well, and we want to protect our kids, but, shouldn't they technically go on every street? You know what I mean? If you put up too many signs, are they gonna read them? But,
Yeah.
but could we just do like we can get some signs, I just have to get some ordered, but
Okay. I'll tell them.
it'll just take some time. Or just put out one of those little kids or with a flag and try that, see if that helps.
And I think as neighborhoods change, signs can change too, so they can, if they're mobile.
Oh, sure.
that'd
Oh,
be
yeah,
really
they're
nice
totally
too, then
mobile.
people would notice
Yeah.
them more if they're moving around.
Oh, absolutely.
True.
And maybe that's something we look at, is maybe we have some that
Yeah.
could be repurposed somewhere else. I can check with Brian when he gets back next week.
We should put cameras on them.
Jeez. I don't know about
All
that.
right.
Okay. Anything else? Anything else other than that, Domingo? Okay. Okay. I'll look at those.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Who's our city liaison for the sheriffs or our police?
flip a coin.
Have a discussion with him also, or her, whatever it is,
I'll
with
put
the
out,
sheriff,
Him.
Oh, for the
so that
signs.
they know that
I'll put out an
people are
email.
concerned about the
Oh, yeah.
I'll send an
Speed.
email to our
traffic
guys.
in that area.
I'll send an
Maybe
email out to our guys, so.
if the police car drove by there fairly often.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah, I don't
Extra
know how much
patrols.
they patrol it, so.
Well, and
I used to, but
that area's changed so much just even in the
Yeah, there's
last
a lot of kiddos now.
2 years, so, yeah.
Okay. Hearing nothing else, we're adjourned.
Wow.
Thank you, everybody.
Have a nice night.
Probably needs a good battery. I turned it off like 5 times. Turn it on, then it goes off by itself.
Take your word for it. Yeah.